Welcome to Lucid Dreaming and the Cube of Space with the Alchemical Kabbalah. A question for the group, for the mind. You don't have to answer this question. Just let it sink to where it will. What is justice? During this past week, we've been traveling along the current of Sadi, the star, moving back towards the east on the above side of the cube. And as we've come to the edge of this current, we really only have one option on the edges. What's the option available to us on the currents, on the outer currents? Anyone?
Lover's key.
Thank you, Jesse. Exactly. Yes. The only current available on the outer edges for us is, again, the Sword of Zion, the Lover's Key. We followed this current not long ago. That doesn't mean we've mastered it or that we are done engaging with this intelligence. And it's the only, again, edge or outer current available to us as we travel along the edges of the cube of space. So everyone take some deep breaths. Feel the center core of your being. Relaxed, close your eyes. Breathe in deeply. As you exhale, let go of all unnecessary concerns. Gently keeping your eyes closed. Breathing in deeply. Bring up now the image of the lover's key in your inner knowing. Relaxed, breathing in. Feel the light of the angel pouring down from above and behind you into your awareness, reflecting itself to you and reflecting to you through the eyes of your subconscious. Open your hands before you and look gently into the center of your palms. Gazing directly into your palms, what emerges for you? Relaxed, look until you see. Make a note of what you see and keep it near your grasp. Feeling the light now, you feel the currents of Zion as an orange flowing river of light. And you step into this flowing, living current, a river of air and the breath of life. And you let go and allow this current to just flow, just drift. Feeling the light being absorbed into your whole being. You feel this intelligence coursing through you. No grasping. And you're receiving all that is needful from the dark and luminous sphere of Bina above and below you. Exactly what is needed comes and merges into your storehouse of images, where it will dwell until its fruits are ripe and fall to the earth as manifest events and formations. Simply observe what is occurring. Breathing in deeply and relaxed, you feel the life force flowing through your entire being. And now we feel ourselves slowing in this current. Now you gently and firmly step out of the river of light to the edge of the banks. You see two paths before you. You may descend again via the path of He, the Emperor, or you may step into a great field. Looking at the field, it appears to be a field of twilight. Standing there before you make your choice, feel what it feels like to stand on this corner at this threshold. And now, with great courage, you step forwards into the field of twilight, moving by the light within you. As we move forward into this dark field, you feel very thick, lush vegetation at your feet. As you continue walking, you sense and feel vibration and movement at your feet. It's hard to see details here. And you see what seems to be swirling, or you see what seems to be a dark serpent weaving through the vegetation around you. It now moves directly below you. You take your right foot and step firmly and decisively over the neck of this serpent, feeling its life force vibrating into your foot as it wreathes and rises beneath you. You pin the serpent with your foot, allowing it to breathe, but not to depart from where you stand. You wonder at the sensation moving now through your feet and lower extremities. And just as you start to really sense and feel this, right before you, a deep crimson red lion steps directly in front of you. You lock eyes with this beast and immediately feel the presence of this king of beasts to the core of your being as you prepare to fight or flee. You see its eyes glowing in the twilight. The red lion lowers its head and walks directly towards you. You can't tell if this is an act of reverence or preparation for an attack. You feel intense emotions gripping you in this moment. And just as you are tempted to run, an inner voice speaks to you. Stand your ground. You sense this voice is coming from your core and simultaneously from a point high above you. Your awareness looks up and you see what looks like glimmerings of a golden star. Looking more closely, you see this looks exactly like the star you saw in the star key. And as you ponder this, forgetting about the lion and the serpent, you see a great light now descending from this star and coming to rest and glow just above your head. The light illumines your vision, and you look down and see the serpent forming figure eights all around your feet. Vibrant colors, its head still held firmly beneath your right foot. You look ahead and see the lion inching closer and closer, and it appears ready to lunge. Again, your voice tells you, hold your ground. As you let go and follow your inner instruction, you're suddenly enveloped in pure white light. This light fills your entire being. It's as if you are wearing only white garments and they are radiating the purest white light. Intuitively, with no hesitation, you reach down now and pick up the serpent, grasping its head in your right hand. You grab its tail in your left. You wrap the serpent around your waist, causing it to bite its own tail. As you do this, you watch with confidence. The lion holds still. As you stare before you, you see in your hands the serpent transforms into a wreath of perfect roses. With this wreath around your waist, you drape the garland of roses around the neck of the lion before you, as it kneels before your feet. You note the lion is kneeling to the light. You place the garland around the red lion. As you do so, it turns and you feel the light moving through your entire being. In this moment, you embrace the great beast with a knowing that rises from the depths and core of yourself. A knowing infused with love and an immense strength courses now through your entire being. You stand now straight and tall, perfectly poised, as the forces of light and love radiate outward from above you and from within you, all through you. You see now the light above your head, circling in a perfect and beautiful radiant figure eight. It reminds you of the pattern you saw beneath your feet. And you see now this light illuminates the entire field in which you stand. Looking out upon this vast and beautiful open field is no longer twilight. The sky is now a brilliant golden yellow light. And it reaches as far as you allow your knowing to see. in all directions. From your heart you hear the voice within you say, I am strength. Breathing in gently, allowing the currents to flow as they will now, in perfect control by the one light. You simply observe as the light radiates in all directions. You see before you a divergence in the currents. You realize you can stay in your white glowing robe of light and merge into the current of the angel of temperance. Or you can take your light into the below via the current of Lawmed, the current of justice. You choose to go within and enter the below. This time, you bring your strength into the current and chamber of the Lady of Justice. Take some deep abdominal breaths. Feel the weight of your body, and when you are ready, gently open your eyes. Please unmute yourselves one at a time and share what occurs to you on our current and key for this week. The current of Lawmed, the ox goad. I just keep seeing that sword just shining, just brilliant. It's like a mirror with light shining on it. It's kind of going all over the room.
I
You
see
have
her
to have you.
heart center is like a chalice and then it's
Oops.
overflowing with love over her shoulders.
Hmm.
Just something that's coming up is just especially with that following the meditation, is just the feeling of, well, really the essential aspects of mercy and severity in order for there to be justice. Kind of just that, and I was just thinking like the whole tree, but just even the action, or just because kind of the meditating on like what is justice, and that whole thing is it must be both rooted, grounded, or come from that space of, and then and just really the only thing that's really coming up for me is just that it must be both, say fair, this, that, but there's grace and mercy there, and that decisiveness, acting, that again, severity, I think is the word being used for it, but they're like they both all that must be present. It cannot be just only one of this or one of that or sectioned off. Like it's the totality of the essence of all of it that then bears kind of and I guess that's kind of part of the decisive part being kind of channeled to whatever is in front of again this figure here that's being decided on and guess where that sword element's coming from too, just that the sword cuts, it divides, it partitions off, you know, yay or nay, or there's a lot of different ways we use, but just that aspect and that act of that motion, that cutting motion, and the willingness to decide where to cut and to have the strength to make that cut and knowing that it's not a lot of thought and compassion and all the things are there to make that decision. I'm kind of going off on stuff now, but that's just kind of what's coming up right now. I don't want to free associate too much more on all this, but it's yeah. Yeah.
That was beautiful, easy. It's very well said. That's a lot to articulate, but I hear you. It's really well said.
I'm getting when we think of justice, we often think of balance, but this is active balance. So it's actually leaning in toward activity and intuitive activity. So it's like it's all hanging from the heart here. And
Mm,
you can see the yellow above her head as if it's informing
yeah.
the figure. Um, Not justice in the way we would think of it in trying to find out who's right or who's wrong, but
Hmm.
to look at the whole picture to understand both sides and how they mirror each other.
Yeah.
And it's creativity through the act of pruning. And I think we see that in key 12. Am I right? You brought
Yes.
that up
Yes.
once.
You're correct. All the
So,
branches have been pruned in key 12.
mhm.
Yes.
So I think what I'm getting from this is it's an intuitive attuning, conscious attuning to the intuition, carefully observing both sides of every situation. For every upside, there's a downside. For every downside, there's an upside, and carefully discerning and allowing our intuition to guide us to prune where we need to prune so that
Yes.
creativity can happen. New growth, fruitfulness in life can be realized.
Nice. Uh, what stands out to me is the color of the throne that she sits on.
Yep. Wisdom.
Wisdom.
Yep.
Yes. So we're we're it's like you said, Jesse, we're not talking about who's right or who did this or
I'm
that or
seeing this in terms of law. Oh,
I think you're cutting in and out,
you're
man.
breaking up, Michael.
I think he's got a connection delay.
Okay. No worries. I see resolve here. There's no there's no con there seems to be zero conflict in this person in the being's mind here about what is being meted with, what's coming forth.
Kind of like what is without any meaning added to it. Just what's so.
Exactly. Exactly. What is and what will be.
Not judging or condemning one side or another, but able to look without prejudice in that sense.
Hmm.
In order to weigh both sides fully, we need to be able to really look at both sides to really see clearly.
Hmm.
I say that now because we're experiencing charged political, whether on any level of life, and we tend to be blind to one side or another, either of ourselves but we need to really be able to look uh, to see
Hmm.
without
Yes.
rejecting any aspect of the full picture to the extent that we're capable. And I'm talking about the application of this, but maybe there's a different way we can.
No, that's good. I like that. I think a very important, a super important attitude to remember when you come to this key, particularly, but really all the keys, but we're doing this one. So with this key, every time you come to this key, come to it with what they call the beginner's mind. Don't come to it thinking we already know the answer to whatever uh, concern or issue we're being confronted with. And this is humility. And this is basically recognizing that the wisdom and the consciousness of the higher self, the whole being that one is the super conscious that we have to put our trust in to guide the ox, right? Which is our life, our path, the way we're going, to keep us on the path. And you notice that that yellow light behind her looks very much like a path.
What I get from this is the light behind her, the light that we go for. You got to get past her to get there. She's sitting comfortably, barring the way. And how are you going to get past her? Do you have a sword? Discrimination, balance, movement, love. But you have to get past justice to enter the light consciously. This is a very active card because she's wearing, or it is wearing, a robe of red covered with love. But we're being teased. The purple drapes have been drawn back just enough so we can see what's behind. And now we want it. How much do you want that? What are you willing to do? She stands there with a sword of discernment, not destruction, discernment. Do you wish to fight to get to the light? How hard do you really want it?
That makes a lot of sense, Margot, because when I'm looking at this, I'm seeing, like, when you're looking at the western face of the cube, that could be the opening, that light to the next side of the cube, where you go after you're off the western face, right, of the cube. So, but you got to get past. You've got to get past.
It's a challenge. You're being challenged. Okay, you want this? Come get it.
Mm-hmm.
Learn how to get it.
Did you
And I'll
pass
let
your
you
test?
pass. And I'll let
Yes.
you pass.
Right. Did you pass your test?
Uh-huh.
Did you learn the truth?
And if you mess up, that sword is not going to be very nice.
No. That makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, this is, it's not an intellectual thing. It's a discernment in every day of your life. And sometimes it's very unpleasant. And sometimes it's overwhelming when you have that aha moment and you go, oh my God, I'm there. I got something. But you have to actively step out to get around her and past the curtains. Those glorious lavender purple wise curtains. It reminds me of the mountains we see in all the other cards of them in the background, which is and the sword is interesting because you've got the Trinity at the bottom in her hand. She's firmly gripping it, and you have the 3 points of the triangle there. That's understanding the use of the law, how you create. And she brought up the strength card, and you have knowing. All these little suggestions are in this card, what you have to do to get to the light. And you got to want it. You got to want it so much that nothing else counts. Knights of the Light. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Excellent input. We're gonna have to move forwards. That's a good, yeah. You have something else, Easy?
Oh, well, I was just going to say real fast, just brief on what's been shared is, you can't fake it. That's just all, just to keep it really succinct. It's
Right.
with all this stuff, it's like, yeah, you can't fake it. It's,
That
we
is
don't-
so well put, Easy.
Mhm.
yeah,
Yep. Genuine.
it's succinct it'll get.
That was good.
Excellent. Thank you all for sharing your light and your insights. So look where she's holding the sword, and look where she's holding the scales. So on the tree of life, this is the current of Lawmed, connects the sphere of power, action, and severity of Gevurah to the heart of the tree. Right. This is in your email. You may alternate this for your core practice each night if you like, using the, the reverse colors. The current of Lawmed is sometimes called the teacher of teachers. So when you work with this key, let this self, shown here as Lady Justice, guide you. Trust in your own inner guidance. And this week, make it your intention to meet her in your own lucid dreams. Ask her to meet you in your dreams and to assist you each night before you go to sleep. You might ask the self to bring justice forth through you without attachment or thinking we know what that is. All right. For your core practice this week, of course, you may use the key of justice as we normally do. And you could also use this combination if you feel so impelled or compelled. We all know there's a lot going on in the world. I don't know when there's not a lot going on in the world, but we definitely have a lot going on globally, as we all know. You can use this 3-key combination. I sent this out in an email. Hope everyone got it. And you had a little homework to decide, to decide why she's between these 2 keys. Does anyone have an answer they want to share?
It has to do with the Western face and reconciling the opposites.
Nice. Just the Western face?
Well, I would imagine it's reconciling us to the sun, or the tower key is separates us from the lower mental plane. So
Okay.
the
All right.
Wheel of Fortune being the western face,
Yes.
and through justice, we're reconciled to the sun by going through the tower key. That's what I saw when I looked at it.
All right. Perfect, Jesse. Thank you. How many swords are in this combination?
Hmm. I see two.
You see two.
I mean, if we talked about the activity of one, I mean, wouldn't
Okay.
I mean,
Good.
I'm
Good
saying I'm
question.
thinking of like the third one being the bolt coming down because
Yes.
that's
This
splitting
the
away
lightning
the false
flash.
from the true.
Oh,
Yeah,
This the flaming sword,
right.
right?
Yeah.
Right.
Coming
Yep.
directly from the sun.
okay.
Hmm.
All right.
Sneaky.
Good. Okay. So, anyone else on why justice might be between the tower and the wheel of fortune?
It seems like she's balancing them in some way. It's like the Wheel of Fortune is giving and the tower is taking away,
Perfect. Yes.
something like that.
It's something very much like that. Yes. So on the cube of space, what's the northern face of the cube?
The tower,
The tower. And what's the western face?
the wheel.
The wheel. And the current that connects them is this one.
Justice.
Yes. So overthrowing of errors, spiritual awakening in the world.
Yeah, through discernment.
Yes.
Exactly.
Okay.
Puts you in control over there on the Wheel of Fortune.
Mm. All right. So
Nice.
remember, our intention is of utmost importance with everything, especially when we're working with the powerful keys of the tarot. So whatever key you're working with, always make it your intention to be useful and to bring about what is the best outcome for all. For all. One beauty of tarot is we don't have to have an idea of what that might look like, as long as our intention in our heart is in the right place. And that is what we cannot fake. That's why, the self knows us better than we know ourselves because it sees literally every thought, desire, deed, the whole 9 yards, right? It's better for us to realize we don't really get away with anything. But this is why we do our nightly retrospection for ourselves, not to please some other person or belief system. It's just so we can be authentic and true to ourselves. So this week, please make your intention in prayer in your core practice to be what is best for all. If you do use this 3-key combination for your core practice this week, look at all the keys, think about all the things, and wherever your mind goes, but keep your primary focus on the central key of justice. Because this is the current we are engaging and traveling in. And this is one of two on the cube that goes from above to below. So we are entering the below this week in this cube, in this current. Thank you all so very much for your light and work. This concludes this part of our class on lucid dreaming, Lawmed, and the cube of space. The floor is now open for any questions or comments.